This is my loadout for the 24-hour OP. I have a functioning bolt. There is your 360. And I have nothing loose or that rattles. So as you can see right here, there is a natural path, and the grass is very tall right here, so I'm going to utilize this to set up some sound traps and early detection systems before I head onto the OP down that way. Right down here I've collected some old tin cans that will blend in very well because of the rust color. Nobody's going to think about it because there's junk all over here. I'm going to punch holes, fill it with rocks, and tie a string across this tall grass. It'll blend in, so as they're walking, those cans will jingle, make a noise alerting me down that way. So I have my string right here. It is a natural fiber string that's going to blend in very well with all this tall tan grass. I'm going to run it from this tree down to here. I'm going to have one can on each side. I have two other cans that had holes in the bottom, so I'm going to toss them out here as distraction cans, so if they are to be seen and they see these two, they won't think nothing of it. They'll say, oh, it's another can. I'm going to go ahead and get these tied up. Okay, I have both my cans set up. My line going across here. It is a little visible. I'm going to try and hide it with some more brush of trees, but for the most part it blends in very well. And if you're up here walking and you don't see it, boom, you hit it, and these cans will jingle. I'm going to gather some rocks and different things to put in the cans. I'm going to grab some more natural cover to help hide the line a little bit better. So right here I have my line. I've taken extra grass and other materials to help hide the line a little bit better. It's not the best, but I feel like it is going to work. I have one can with a couple rocks right there, and I've placed some moss on top to help hide it and break up the look of the can. I did the same thing down here. Here is one of the cans, what it sounds like. This is very simple and crude, but I've built it with only materials I had out here. Even the string I used was made from the fibers from grasses out here. And it took no extra resources from me coming out here. I knew the cans were already out here. I had the string and the grasses. They're part of the land. It doesn't have to be anything super crazy. It can be something as simple as this that is going to help protect you just a little bit more as you're in your observation post or fighting hole or whatever campsite. So I'm here at my OP location. I'm going to be utilizing this old deer stand that was put here years ago to do observations on a landing field across the hill. There has been recent air activity with helicopters and planes of different varieties. And on maps I've seen there are only 3 airfields out in my vicinity. This one is the closest, so I'm going to be doing a 24-hour patrol and observing if there is any activity, and if there is, who is it, what do they look like, what are their capabilities. I'm going to be utilizing the ghillie net I have down here. I've already collected natural vegetation from my surrounding. I'll be tying to it and adding onto it. And I'm going to tie it up to the front right here. block me as I stand up on the ladder and view over the tree line onto the airfield. As you may be able to hear, there is an incoming plane, and it seems to have just left the airfield. So I need to finish this quick so I can continue my observations before I miss any potential activity. Right now I'm tying juniper branches and dry grass to this, because that is what is most common in my area right now. Everything is starting to die off, and the only thing that is green are these juniper trees behind me. And in front of this deer stand there is a line of trees that actually help hide the lower half of it. And from the airfield, I don't think they'll be able to see, due to the tree cover, most of it anyways. But to be safe, I am going to take this extra precaution and prepare this just to help break up my silhouette and the outline of the tree stand a little bit more. We have this. I probably can't see it as well as you, but that is a start.
So there is the observation post. You can kind of see the top of it. I'm about 50 yards away, and I'm going to be walking around just to see what it looks like. And this gives you kind of an idea of the terrain I'm dealing with. There it is again. The only part that really sticks out is the wood, but the airfield's so far away I don't think they're going to be able to see. And when you get behind these trees, it disappears. And I have another, pretty much a whole forest between me and the airfield and several hills. So I'm really not worried about being seen.
So I have finished setting up my OP. I have my bag at the bottom of the ladder. My rifle, my belt are up top because they have all the things I need. I'm going to climb up there and begin my observations.
I've written down some short notes here to have a written report on what I'm seeing when I go back to my group. Not much can be said on the plane traffic other than there are a lot of frequent planes today, more than usual. I am suspicious, but I cannot come up with a reason as to what the purpose of them flying the planes are.
So as you can see, it is getting darker. I have watched multiple planes fly over. They've all seemed to come from, I believe, the south to the air base. They fly north and come back doing figure 8 motions, head back south, and then land back at the airfield or hangar, whatever you want to call it. I haven't seen them drop anything from the plane or land anywhere else.
The sun is set, so this is my cue to give a report over the radio. This is no call sign reporting from the OP. I've seen multiple aircraft come and go from the landing strip. I have not been able to identify any personnel or markings on the plane. They are flying in sporadic patterns, and I'm unable to tell what their motives are. It's become too dark to record, so I will report in the morning when the sun comes back up.
So it is daytime now. I slept up there last night. I continued my observations through the night. There were no air traffic planes or helicopters, but the hangar was lit up pretty well. It stood out a lot. I tried to capture on video, but it's too far away from my camera to really see clearly.
It's getting close to midday and there's still zero activity. It seems everything has died off. I'm still suspicious, and I will continue to take notes as any potential activity arises.
So it is mid-morning now. I've been observing the airfield. So far, I haven't seen anything like I saw yesterday. No planes, helicopters, or any vehicles. It has gone completely dead. Since I have the time right now and there seems to be no activity, I wanted to go over some of the things I brought with me. I brought this small pair of binoculars. They are adjustable, and for how small they are, they can see quite a distance away fairly clearly. Next, I brought my wrist compass. It is a Sunto M9. I got this a couple years ago, and it's worked very well. If you can manage to scavenge one of these or find one of these, I wouldn't leave it behind. They're very useful. This one still glows in the dark and works underwater like it was intended to. Next, I brought a notebook with a pencil and some small maps of the area. But I keep them in the bag just to keep it dry. It's not a Write in the Rain. It is a cheap little notebook I got for 10 cents a long time ago, and I thought it'd be perfect for this. But the notebook I use for taking notes and writing down things. I do keep a few small, simple maps of the area, just of roads and different addresses. It is not topographical or anything like that. It's just a piece of paper to help me navigate based on roads and whatnot. I wasn't too worried about having more advanced maps because I know the area that I'm in very well from years of experience out here, and I knew I wouldn't get lost. I was very confident in that. So it's time for me to head back and leave the OP. I'm going to report over the radio, and then I'm going to head out. This is no call sign reporting in. There has been zero activity for the day, unlike yesterday. I have been unable to identify any ground units or ground vehicles or any of the aircraft being used yesterday. I do not know the size of the activity, but there was large amounts of activity yesterday, but it has all died down today. What is going on at that abandoned hangar, I do not know, but it is safe to say that it is no longer abandoned.
I'm packed up and ready to go, but I'm going to be leaving my ghillie net behind in case I decide to come back and continue my observations. So up here, we're coming up on my tripwire I set yesterday. That seems that it's still there and nothing has touched it. That is good. I think I'm just going to leave it in case I decide to come back. I'm back at my mag and I want to do a quick action report over building the OP, my findings while observing for the 24 hours, and briefly touch on some of the gear and equipment I brought with me. Building the OP and the noise detection trap was very easy due to the natural ground cover and the plentifulness of natural resources in the area. Setting up my OP on the deer stand with the ghillie net I felt gave me a height advantage to better view the landing strip from instead of being on the ground. And I felt like I was very hard to detect from the distance I was from the hangar. That being said, it was hard to see if there were any ground personnel or ground vehicles from the distance I was at due to the lacking capabilities of the binoculars I brought, especially when it came to nighttime. I did not have any night vision or thermal optics that I had brought with me or had access to, so my nighttime capabilities are pretty much zero outside of my eye. That being said, I was somewhat disappointed in my findings because I did not find out as much information as I would like to. I plan on doing a further observation, but on a closer distance, or using that same area again with maybe more high-powered binoculars. Briefly touching on some of the gear I brought, I'm going to start with the rifle I brought. It is an AKM with just a sling on it. I brought 280 additional rounds with me, with what's on my chest rig, my belt, and stored in the backpack. I had brought this small hatchet and folding saw to help collect the natural materials I used to set up the observation post and noise detection trap. What I have on my belt is just the binoculars I used to observe the airfield, a 20-round magazine, my IFAK and other medical items, and a canteen and cooking can. In my bag, I kept 5 additional rifle magazines, my sleeping system, extra food and water, and commodities that I might want, like extra socks, toilet paper, and hand warmers. I also kept additional medical supplies and other multi-tools in there that I might needed while I was out on the field. Going over what I chose to wear in the field, I wore this balaclava not only to camouflage my face, but for warmth due to the cold weather we've been experiencing. I chose this Greek lizard BDU top due to the effectiveness of the camouflage in the surrounding areas I was at this time of year. And I went with these Ranger Green field pants because I knew that the neutral and natural colors would blend in with the surrounding area as well. I'm hoping this video on the 24-hour patrol I took recently can be used as future reference and is educational to people who end up seeing it.